Mansour. You're listening to First Exit to Springfield. What's happening? I'm here with Bob and Zipp of the No Redeeming Qualities podcast. Hey guys, what's happening?
All the way from Texas, you dirty. Wait, no, y'all. I was about to call you dirty Germans. No, y'all are definitely.
Yeah, wow.
That is most certainly the exact opposite.
At all, did you?
The UK is like the opposite of Germany. They made sure of that.
Yeah. Just loose and fast, having fun in Britain, while in Germany they're just uptight and wearing lederhosen. That's how it goes. And playing forklift simulator games. I don't know what the fuck that's about.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Listeners, check out these guys' podcast, No Redeeming Qualities. If you like a laugh and if you like the irreverent humor that's often in this show, I think you'll like that too. Just don't Google the episode titles at work.
Yeah.
What do they call that over in Britain? Do they call it banter? Is that what everybody says?
Yeah. There's a lot of banter, yeah.
Lad speak? Is that
exactly.
I don't think banter is a British word. I think that's just a word.
Oh,
I think it's a term.
It's very popular here.
What is it? Is it lad speak? Is that what y'all call it?
I don't know if that's the exact phrasing, but the listeners know what you mean.
I don't know. I don't think I'm a lad. I think we're just
we really
American.
don't understand the geography of the United Kingdom. It's kind of confusing.
Hey, me either.
So, what is the difference between a British person and an Englishman?
Excellent. So
you're really fucked up now because I know that. There's a whole lot to it.
This is my area of expertise here. So,
and then there's the Welsh, and then there's the Irish, and then
let's get it.
Here's the 30-second explanation. The United Kingdom is made up of 4 countries: England, Ireland. Oh man, I'm gonna get shot for that. No, it's England, Northern Ireland, Scotland, and Wales. Right there you go. So yeah. But Great Britain is just the bigger island, right? England, Scotland, and Wales. There you go.
That's okay. We know that those Northern Islands really just hated that Catholic God. It's a big deal.
Are we the first Americans you've had on this show?
You might no. You might be the 4th. So don't worry.
That's not as special.
No. They've been from all over. I've had a guy from New Jersey, Seattle, somewhere in the Midwest.
Those are shitty American places.
We got these guys. This is real Americana here. The Texas.
It's hard for Europeans that I've met to just understand the scale of the country.
Oh, it really is.
Like our connection to New Jersey is probably like your connection to like Romania.
Yeah, really. Distance. No, we're not kidding. That's how fucking far it is in New Jersey.
Jeez. Yeah, but that's the beauty of it. I love it. Like
it is the beauty of it.
I went to the US a couple of months back for the second time, and I went.
Oh no shit.
Yeah. But like it was like the first time around I went to like East Coast. I went to New York, DC. Second time around I went West Coast. I went to LA and Seattle. These places are like totally different. I mean, like
it's a whole different fucking country.
It's crazy, right?
Yeah.
Like it's.
You need to make your third trip the third coast, the Gulf Coast.
All right,
third coast.
It's kind of like. Baby. Did you go to any of the beaches on the East or the West Coast?
Oh yeah. I went out in LA.
Yeah. Ours are like that, but really shitty. Like there's literally for the beach that's near Houston, Texas. There's literally a time of year where all the seaweed dies and the whole island smells like a dead whale, and you just don't go to the beach.
You just don't go.
Like you just can't plan a trip for that month.
It's seaweed month. Sorry.
Anyway. No, but that's cool. Don't worry. The seal is broken. The listeners are used to your wacky accents and all of that. So
yeah.
All right, cool. Just to put our listeners at ease, are you the type of Texans that they're picturing right now?
Oh God, that's the best. I fucking love hearing that. No, we're a little different. We are from Houston, Texas, and if anybody what I would say, most people to get a good idea of Houston, Texas, outside of the U.S. is to look at Houston rap from the early 2000s. That would be your.
Who says that?
Swisher House, your your
That's
international
a
players
anthem.
anthem.
City. They're just like the hydraulic cars, the slabs.
Actually, no. Houston is the 4th biggest city in the United States, and we are now the most diverse. We're the most diverse city in America. We have incredible global populations here, and just a lot of ethnic diversity. It's really fun.
That's beautiful, man.
Oh yeah, no,
we actually survived Hurricane Harvey.
We survived the middle of the fucking hurricane.
Jeez, hey.
Literally, our house turned in like we were in a moat, and we were just trapped in our house for.
Jeez.
Yeah, we got lucky because our overall neighborhood had a moat too, so we couldn't leave.
And our local bodega store,
our local convenience store, the guy was stuck, so he just kept the store open and was sleeping in the back, so we had access to like cigarettes and junk food the whole time. So Bob's parents' house literally washed away. And so
I can't tell you how many Pop-Tarts we ate during that fucking week.
You went back to like the university diet.
Yeah, it was great.
God, you're right. It felt like writing an English paper, just with Marlboro Reds and Pop-Tarts.
That's beautiful, man.
Yeah, I'm glad.
Yeah, we've fulfilled our legal requirement for international programming now. So
we have ridden a horse before, but we do not ride them to work.
Yeah, and I used to work in a gun range. So
Oh yeah. I will tell you, I just did get my fingerprints done so I can openly carry a handgun on me at all times if I want to. I'm not kidding.
Yeah, our gun laws are insane.
It's
Like
pretty fucking cool.
You're in Texas, you are legally allowed to, if it is nighttime, if the sun's down, you can shoot someone in the back if they're running away with something they stole from you.
Wow. It's fucking, yes. And what I was telling you, that license, that's real. Like, I'm not making that up. It was not an exaggeration.
Yo, that's twisted, man.
But only if the sun's down.
Yeah.
If the sun's up, that's murder.
He's not kidding either. It's a weird part of the law.
So wait, hang on. So who's like measuring? Like, is the people come out with like all sorts of like astronomical devices to check that the sun is officially set?
Oh my God! I never thought about that.
Oh yeah,
like,
people would always ask.
Yeah,
people. I actually teach the classes that people have to take my class and then turn the paperwork in to get a license to carry a handgun in public. Yeah, it's I've made beer money off it for years, but. People ask that all the time. They're like, well, what's the difference between night and day? And I'm like, I don't know. Like, how about you just don't shoot him in the back?
Yeah,
like, let's just do that.
Don't take advantage of that law right there. Let's leave that.
Yeah, because they'd ask that. They say, "Oh wow, I can do that." It's like you legally can, but I don't know if you should.
It's like this amazing threat you can do. Like a friend told me that you can walk into a store carrying it, right? But like, is that true? So so I mean, you no longer have to explicitly hold up the store, right? If you just go to the checkout and just place the gun on the counter as you're paying, and they'll probably just let you.
Yeah, well, that'll get you shot pretty quick. So
yeah.
All right, shoot.
That is meant to be the deterrent of the whole thing. Is that everybody else gets to have them too.
Like the saying here is, the stops a bad guy with a gun is a good guy with a gun.
It's terrible logic.
Yeah. Unless that bad guy is at the 50th floor of a hotel shooting everyone with a machine gun.
Oh my God!
No good guys with guns are stopping them.
Jeez. I feel safe here. Anyways, you know what's crazy? The neighborhood I live in, London, it's like the gun capital of the UK, but like it pales in comparison. In like,
I will say there's a couple dudes they find a year.
Do BB guns count? Is that what?
That's probably the bulk of the statistics. Probably like. All right, fellas. So I like to warm up by asking my guests how they got into the show. I always forgot what this show was about. So I like to ask my guests how they got into the show The Simpsons. Give me your origin story here.
Well, we both had an interesting, somewhat similar experience being introduced to it. Like, Zipp, you wanna?
Yeah, like both of our dads were super into it.
Yeah.
So that's
wow.
We got it to just by him letting us watch it with him.
Nice.
Because I don't know how old you are.
26. Yeah.
Okay, so you're a little younger than us. Then that's about the same time. So we were born in '89, the year that it came out on the Tracy Ullman show, and that's what my dad he would tell us that it was on the Tracy Ullman show first, and we go, "Who the fuck are you talking about?"
I never understood what they meant when they said that.
By the way, isn't she a British actress?
Yeah. She's a British comedian.
Nobody watched the show outside of the Simpsons segments. So.
He's like virtually unknown in the UK. It's the wild thing. She had to go over there. Yeah, she had to go over there to make it big.
That's funny. Yeah. She grew to despise the cartoon too, if I remember correctly. Wow. Just because she thought that took away from her aspect of the show and how popular it became. She would resent it. Yeah.
So I don't know how frequently it's on TV over there.
We need to
but
get back
here,
to this.
at least when we were kids, every day at 5:30 and at 6:30 they would show a rerun. So
right after school.
Yeah.
Right after school. So probably seasons 1 to season 9, I've probably
14.
watched every. You think as high as 14?
14.
Every one of those episodes at least a dozen times. Like
season 1 through 9 for sure. We've seen hundreds of times.
Yeah, just watched it over and over
That's
again.
the golden season. That's the golden era.
Oh yeah. And so, but our dads introduced us to it when we were young, and it was sort of that sentimental aspect everybody has where if you see just somebody you care about or love laugh really hard at something, you just can't help but laugh. And that's the way it was for at least me. Whenever my dad would just lose it at a bit on The Simpsons, I still can't see any of those bits without just going bananas and having a great time.
Yeah, that's
like Stampy, like his dad yells Stampy, like Stampy the elephant.
Oh yeah.
And so he yells it in a weird way that they don't say at all in the show.
They never do it like this, but my dad feels compelled. He goes, Stampy! Stampy! Stampy!
And so we've been doing that for like 15 years.
Yeah.
Like just
no explanation. Hey, what are you going to do? Stampy! Now I'm going to belt that out a few times during the show. But anyway, yeah, that was our introduction to the show. And so, yeah, we would come home every day from school and listen or watch 2 episodes with a nice Tim Allen's Home Improvement.
Did they fuck y'all too with that? Yeah, where they put an episode of some bullshit show in between the 2 Simpsons episodes. Yeah. Yeah.
So wait, did you watch Home Improvement?
Yeah. The guy, but I watched it like way after it aired, right? Like,
weird.
That sounds terrible. It wasn't good when it came on.
What's weird is that, like, to this day, I don't understand why they never showed the neighbor's face. What was with that? Like, nobody gave me like an intro, and because no one else was watching it at the time, I couldn't ask anybody else. So I was like.
We have talked about this hundreds of times. Have you seen the episode where they went as far to give him a little handheld fence to cover his face with?
It was like they were like, we wrote ourselves into a corner. We don't know how to get this guy out of that yard and also cover the bottom part of his face. They even had an episode where the bottom part was visible, but his top of his face was covered. And it was just, it was such a bizarre gimmick.
If there are any Photoshop masterminds out there who could take the bottom half of a picture and attach it to the top half of a picture, I don't know. Or just Google the actor. We can all look at him right now. Right now, I can look at him.
Yeah, and Bob looks like Al from Home Improvement, like pretty much.
You can claim exactly that like everybody. Al. You'd be like, "Yo, I look like Al from." Oh no, wait, Al was the guy he worked with, not the neighbor, right?
Al was the heavy set. Voice of reason on Tool Time.
For some reason, all the women were incredibly fucking worked up for. I don't remember why.
Yeah, he's got that fatherly appeal to himself.
Oh, you mean
he's like I'm not threatening. I'm nice and friendly.
Yeah, heavy-set British ladies listening to the show. If you'd like to get in touch with my recently married self, get me up.
Okay, now anyway. You don't want to meet the people who listen to this show. I show you. It says like nerdy guys.
Oh, good. Okay.
But yeah, I mean, it was just exposure from watching it like every day, pretty much 10 episodes a week.
Oh, yeah.
And I used to always wish that they would show them at night instead, that they would show them at 10 so I could watch them when I went to bed. Guess what city does that, Bob?
What?
Austin.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I used to live in Austin and they show it at night. So, so that's what I needed was more Simpsons.
Yeah. Just stick it to my veins. No.
That's one of my favorite fucking lines.
Okay, The Simpsons had a significant impact on me and Bob's perception of beer consumption.
Yes.
When we started drinking, we were like, okay, well, we'll think of Homer Simpson and Barney Gumble. Like they wake up with trash can or beer cans all around them. That is what we will do. That's what you do when you drink beer.
That's how it works.
That's a pretty high bar to set for like that.
Well, we made it.
He also makes it look so goddamn delicious.
Yeah.
And it is very good, but it is not like that. I cannot drink it like that.
What's that service called? FX or something, or like
FX now.
You can watch The Simpsons on demand, right? No, we don't have that.
That's what we did last night.
Oh,
that's
man.
right.
Yeah. You don't have that over
Nah,
there?
man. It's like rationed out here. It's like World War II rations or something. Like, you get a ticket. All right, here's your one episode of The Simpsons for the week.
I thought he was telling the truth.
It's like, old Soviet rules. We had to wait in the line as long as a block just to watch one episode of The Simpsons. You didn't get to pick, so sometimes it was like a season 1 stinker, and that's what you got. And you were happy for it.
Season 1 is rough.
Oh, man.
Really
season 1 is trash. It's like
straight ass.
You got it out for me. Season 1 sucks.
The little sketches that were on the Tracy Ullman show, I don't understand how, because they were on literally before we were born.
Yeah.
So I don't understand what the appeal was. Like, was the bar so low pre-Simpsons that was like mind-blowing? Yeah. They're terrible. They're horrible. I have seen Flash animations that were better.
They're like, I don't know. Like, I don't know.
Because it became a craze. In 1991, it was such a huge fucking deal. Yeah, Michael Jackson made a video for him? What the fuck is that? Did people dance to that?
I think people in the 80s were just like so in fear of, like, I don't know, Cold War or something. I don't know. I'm clutching at straws here. I'm trying to. I don't know. What do your fathers say? I don't know. You guys, like, being second generation Simpsons fans, right? That's like that goes way back. Second generation anything in the US is ancient, right?
Yeah.
Well, that's pretty easy to say when you come from a city that's been there for millennia. Actually, I am an Italian dual citizen. I will say that, though. I am an EU citizen.
Yeah, so you can get into the UK with your EU passport.
For how much longer?
Yeah.
6 more months.
I better come and rape and pillage that country and get out. I'm taking all your ginger ladies. I'm sorry. They're mine now. Are you saying you don't like the gingers? Is that what I'm hearing, Mansoor?
No. I've got a soft spot for the redhead.
So do I.
Yeah,
all right.
If any redheads listening,
okay.
Yeah. Anyways, cool.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut that so short. Zip's trying to get me on point with the Simpsons episodes.
Why would you say that? Like,
because
that's the point.
Because
if
I literally
wanted them to know
was
that,
high
I would
and
have said
zoned
it to
out
you.
and looked like an asshole, and I refused to look like an asshole without my permission.
I just took my pen and like on the paper.
All right, Mansoor.
Okay, anyway, sorry.
It's all good, man. Yeah, no worries. This show is all about the digressions. Cool.
That's our show too.
Excellent. Yeah, cool. All right. So here's the loose structure of the show, and I mean loose. We're going to run through your top 3 episodes in no particular order because it's left some of our listeners confused. So don't worry about that. We'll talk about them, get to some quotables, that kind of thing. Have some fun along the way. Does that sound good?
That sounds fucking
excellent. Great. But I understand that we've got a twist in this episode, so you're each going to take one, and then the third will be like a joint choice.
We decided on one.
Yeah, his favorite, my favorite, and then one we got together.
Beautiful. Alrighty. Cool. So kick it off for me. What's the first episode, and whose choice is it?
So this is my choice, and this is just something that has a little soft spot in my heart. I definitely remember watching this one with my father and really enjoying it. There's a lot of references. That would be season 7, episode 9?
22. Do
22.
your homework.
Sorry. Oh, no, I remember what it was. It's Raging Abe Simpson and his flying hellfish, and then there's a little tag on at the end of the title.
I just wrote Raging Abe. I didn't expect that I was going to have to actually...
And Little Boy Bart or something. It's really goofy sounding.
Well, regardless, it's the one with the flying hellfish.
Yeah, the flying hellfish, baby.
Excellent choice. The synopsis of the episode is that, like, Abe reveals that he was in some kind of pact with some people in World War II. Right? Is that the...
Yeah. I can tell you what it is.
And then
there's a specific term for that, and it's called the taunting.
It's an Italian word, right?
Is it? I'm actually not sure. It could be, but I do know that I didn't realize they explained the whole concept of a taunting in the show, like the name and everything, which is everyone who is in part of the taunting agrees that whatever the prize is that they've all put together and contributed to, or the last one surviving receives all of the loot that they've put together.
Man. Sounds like a pyramid scheme.
So it was, so
that's why they're illegal, incredibly illegal.
So yeah, Grandpa Simpson's unit found a bunch of art, Nazi art, and then it was Mr. Burns' idea was to do the pact, and then so the episode picks up where the third guy dies, so it's only Grandpa and Mr. Burns.
Oh my god. One of the lines that fucking stood out to me immediately was when they all find the art, Mr. Burns shouts, "We'll all be rich as Nazis!"
And I love anything that has to do with Grandpa Simpson and Mr. Burns. They're probably my favorite characters on the show. So this is just chock full of Grandpa Simpson ridiculous lines.
I think I hate Grandpa Simpson. I think he's like the worst character.
Oh my god, he's so fucking funny.
Yeah, he really is. And that's actually funny you say that because this was actually, I remember the first time where Grandpa ever had much of a character to me.
Yeah.
Like, I really enjoyed his and Bart's interaction and relationship in it. Grandpa has a backstory. He has admirable qualities. Like, he's this badass army hero, and he's part of this group called the Flying Hellfish with a cigar-smoking fish with a muscle arm. I have thought about getting that tattoo every day of my life since this episode. I'm not kidding you. I'm still considering it.
Jeez.
I don't know where to get it.
I have I kind of have a fear of retirement homes, like a really, or I don't know what they call them in the UK, old folks homes. Like, they creep me out. I don't even visit my own family that are in them just because they make me so unsettled. And watching this episode, I think maybe The Simpsons is what gave me that fear, because they make retirement homes out to be bad. I mean, they're like, God damn.
But like it looks like it should be nice, right? It's got a name like the Retirement Castle or something, right? It looks like it should be a good place.
There's like cracks in the sheetrock and in the ceiling.
I used to do a paper round or a paper route, as you guys call it.
Yeah.
And I used to hate having to stop off at the old people's home because that place smelled like death. Like in a way that, like, to a kid, it was like, yo. I used to just like leave the papers in a pile outside the place, but I couldn't go in there, man. It was it was tense.
The people in here are rotting. No, that's a great line from this episode too. Is when he knows the assassins are coming, he goes, "Oh boy, my family's here. Oh wait, my family never comes to visit me." That's how he avoids getting a dagger thrown through him.
How tragic is that? Jeez.
Yeah.
Grandpa Simpson's claim to have been the one who turned cats and dogs against each other. Because we have a mutual friend who had it was his grandpa, right, Bobby?
Oh,
it was his. Did you just zone out in the show?
I was looking at my notes. I'm
sorry. We had a friend whose it was his grandfather, right, who claimed to be the inventor of the washateria, the flashlight, and the French fry. Those three things were his claim.
Incredibly specific.
I just always think of him when I see Grandpa Simpson make these ridiculous claims.
God, I love those little tangents Grandpa Simpson goes on where he talks about how things were just back in the day, like the style at the time.
19-dickety-2.
Because we had to say dickety back then.
Because the Kaiser took our word for 20.
Yeah, the Kaiser took our word for 20.
That's like all over the Simpsons. Like, I used to wear an onion on my belt as a style at the time.
Yeah, that is the word. And then there was a bumblebee on the nickel. And they said, "Give me 5 B's for a quarter."
Man, that's why I don't talk to anyone over 30. That's my rule.
That must be hard.
Yeah.
The conversations are rarely deep, but they don't wander into like crazy territory.
God, I saved a name from this episode because this show does so many fucking references and name drops that you always have one where you're like, well, totally over my head. Who is Marion Barry? That was a weird joke in the middle of it. They were making a reference to.
I do respect all of the probably really hilarious art references that I'm not getting in the show. I can acknowledge they're there, but I don't understand them.
Oh, there's so many little Easter eggs.
That's the beauty of the show, though, right? That you can rewatch it years later after you've grown older and wiser, and there's something more to discover.
Mm-hmm. God. Another thing I remembered about this episode from a kid that always stuck with me is the fucking Eurotrash guy at the end that gets all the paintings.
The henchman in Die Hard.
Yeah. He's supposed to be a German, like, 1990s yuppie. Like, Eurotrash. And
he has the best
to
line.
me as a child, though, in Texas, that was just so alien to me that I did not understand who the fuck or what that was. And so I asked my dad, and he couldn't explain it to me at all. So,
I can't help you there. But, no,
what's the line? What's this thing? Yeah.
Hey, fun boys, get a room.
I asked him.
I actually wrote down "fun boys" with a question mark because I was like, I don't know what that means.
Because I couldn't hear it, and I had to have Zipp repeat it to me, and him and his boyfriend had to go, "It was fun boys."
It was fun boys.
Oh man.
Oh yeah.
I'll be honest with you. I don't think I've met a German like that. Most Germans are more like the Hans Gruber type. That's the kind of Germans I know.
God, no, our friend you heard the other day, he's a little bit more, I would say, on like the bohemian side.
Yeah,
so,
just a hair.
Yeah, a little more.
He must be from Berlin. There's that old Grandpa Simpson line, right, where he's it's like, you know, he said he recalls Kennedy saying, "Ich bin ein Berliner."
He's a Nazi. Get him.
I wrote down, holy shit, I said they beat up John F. Kennedy. They assaulted him.
When he tells him, he said, "You can come visit me in rich man's heaven."
Hey, listen, you guys aren't connected to that assassination, are you? They did him in Texas, right? I don't know.
Holy shit, they did. Yeah, Dallas.
That was Dallas. Dallas
you
sucks,
can go and visit. They have a big old X painted on the sidewalk or the concrete in the street where he was shot, so you can go and see where it is.
Oh, man. That's
pretty morbid. The shooting at the University of Texas in the Bell Tower? You could go on a sniper tour. Like, they'll take you from the spot of victim 1 to the spot of victim 2.
Now, understand that it is respectful and historic. It is not like for people who are like, hell yeah, I want to see where them people are shot. Yeah, no, it is very, very somber and morose.
So we have a similar thing. There's an old killer called Jack the Ripper. He used to. So you can go on tours around that part of London, but it's crazy morbid. It's that's where he slashed her throat, and that's where he.
That's probably the first thing I'm doing when I go over there.
Slashing some British prostitutes' throat.
No.
Is it still a really shitty neighborhood?
It's really changed over the last 20 years. It used to be really bad, but it's all the people like your German friend moved in.
You had to worry about Jack the Ripper. I would say that was a bad neighborhood.
I swear, I remember reading something apparently there wasn't even a crime wave when he was operating. There was barely a spike in the level of crime.
Oh yeah, no, they were just like, oh man, somebody's killing these prostitutes, kind of different.
Sorry, I've lost track. Yeah, the grandpa.
Oh no, grandpa's.
Okay, so one of the bits in this episode is one that I've done it. It's one of those bits that, you keep steal the joke and do it to other people, is when he tells him, if you run out of air, tug the rope 63 times. And if you find the treasure, tug the rope 64 times.
Oh my God, he's dead. Oh, no. I got the treasure. Another thing I always remembered that was really impactful on me as a kid was that scene with the statue when they turned those keys, just like the mechanics of it and how dramatic the music behind it gets. And then it's that really cool homage to Raiders of the Lost Ark with the light coming out of that mechanical fish's eye. And then it goes all the way to the middle of the lake. They're like, oh, damn it.
So the last thing I wrote down about is at the very beginning, it's Nelson Muntz's grandpa is he's a judge, and he talks about sentencing people to death. And so I was curious, from your perspective, there's no death penalty in the UK, is there?
Not for 50 years.
So is that like absolute insanity to y'all, that concept?
Yeah, it's great. Yeah. What's more interesting is that there's no consistency between states in the US that some have
Oh
the
yes.
penalty and some don't.
No. Oh no. Yeah.
Depending on what state you commit that crime in, baby.
People
you
will
get
literally
fried or
flee
not.
certain states to go to other states because they know like that state won't execute them.
Didn't the opposite happen? Was it Ed Gein or somebody who deliberately went to a state where there was the death penalty or something? Is that I don't know.
I'm not. Ed Gein was a bit of a dullard, and he stayed in Wisconsin. But yeah, there are definitely people who've done things like that because they're like, "Well, let's get it over with."
Jeez.
But so like executions in Texas are done in only one spot, and so just so I know how like weird y'all think it is, I taught at I used to teach middle school, and I taught at a middle school that was on the other side of the street from the death chamber, like where they would execute people. Yeah.
And
like we would do like, you do tornado drills or like that kind of drill, like fire drills. We would have like escaped convict drills, like what to do if someone got out of the prison.
He's going to be mad if he escapes from the death row spot, right? That's
And then the only thing people always like would ask, was it weird the days they executed people? Because it happens a lot. Is it weird on the days that they execute people? And I was like, the only thing is that you get pissed because the traffic's really bad because all the people come out to either watch the execution or protest it.
Yeah.
And
people always make jokes about the lights flickering because of the fucking electric chair.
And probably the most morbid thing about the entire thing is that there's a hamburger restaurant across like next to the middle school called Mr. Hamburger. Mm-hmm. And like all of their hamburgers are death row themed. Like it's like
and one of them, my favorite one, is called Old Sparky, which is the name of the electric chair from back in the day. And they deep fry the burger and put jalapeno.
And then there was like the lethal injection, which is like a habanero on it.
Oh yeah. No, I went to school at that university in the town where they hold the executions for a criminal justice degree, and one of my professors was personally on the execution team for like 4 years. Yeah, crazy shit.
My dad used to teach in the prison.
Oh wow!
My dad used to teach in the prison, and he got stuck there. Oh wait, was that? Yeah, he got stuck there because they had to close the prison down from a riot from somebody they executed. I can't remember who it was. So yeah, it's pretty. I always like to talk to people about it who it's totally foreign because it's so casual for us.
Crazy. So wait, can you buy tickets to it? Is it like a football game?
No, that's illegal.
It's
they have talked about it.
I believe it's members of the press and like members of the government.
Right.
There's two wings that the family of the victim are on one side, and then the family of the person dying are like on the other side.
And that's only if they wish to attend. Yeah.
Next time somebody asks you, is it different when somebody gets executed? You say there's a certain electricity in the air. That's my one bad pun for today. No more puns from me.
Zipp loves those. Zipp loves them.
Yeah.
That's wild, man. I don't think I ever want to see that ever. But yeah, there you go. All right, fellas, thank you. That was a beautiful episode, and it's not come up so far, which is unusual because it's a classic.
Good. I'm glad we could.
Oh, thank you. All right, so tell me your second episode. And
all right, so the second one is mine, and it is. Oh crap! I forgot the name of it. I was just making fun of Bob. So mine is Simpson Tide. And it is season 9, episode 19.
Simpson Tide?
And that's the one where Homer gets fired from the nuclear power plant because he drops a donut into the reactor because he says it will make it really big and they'll have more donuts to eat. And it just starts a fire and he gets fired from the power plant. And so he joins the Navy Reserve.
Yes.
And then it's all just about that wacky hijinks. And so I picked that because I was actually in the military reserves here in America. And I am imagining that someone on that writing staff was in the reserves because the jokes that make fun of it are just so fucking accurate. Like it is such a great parody of just the concept of them.
Yeah. The episode's kind of like a parody of a number of things, though, right? It's like Red October and that kind of thing. Is that
Crimson? Yeah. It's got a lot of Navy shit going on.
That's beautiful. When did you? Are you still a member of the reserves?
No. I've been out for a couple of years. Yeah, I never went overseas or anything. I was totally stateside.
You dodged the bullet, literally and figuratively.
I rode the pine for the military.
I think that's what spoke to him so much about this episode. What was your favorite line from that, Zipp?
Oh, it was the commercial. It said, while so-and-so is serving the nation in all four corners of the globe, you're in Lubbock, Texas, washing clothes. And that's so fucking true, because we would go up there and there was a time where the government ran out of money and they were like, well, we don't have money to do anything. So we just like reorganized the commanding officer's like office supply room.
Your country's tax dollars at work.
And then so it said after you get done with your training, it's only 1 weekend a month, and you're going to spend most of that drunk off your ass. Which that is so. It was so bad. I don't know about the other branches, but in the Navy and in the Marine Corps, there's a lot of drinking. It's a big drinking culture, and it was so bad that they used to breathalyze us.
Oh my God.
When we would show up. So like we would be there Saturday and Sunday,
just so they could get 1 hour of you not drunk.
Yeah, and it was bad too, because you'd be worried about it.
Oh my God!
I'd be like, "Oh my God, I have to do a breathalyzer at 8 in the morning. I hope I'm not still drunk." But yeah, it touched on so many of those parallels. It just.
I'm having like random flashbacks. Is this the one where like they shave Homer's head and like
yes, they're shaving on their heads, and he's got 2 pieces of hair. He's fucking fighting them, which is funny because they do that to fuck with you.
Yeah.
Where like when you show up, if you already have a shaved head, they just stab you with the buzzer.
Oh God! Just right over you really hard.
Just run it over your head.
That's so shitty.
It should be a bunch of dicks.
I just had a flashback of the other scene. They're at the lockers in the locker room, and Barney's got a picture of Homer or something. Is that
what?
Yeah,
it's like
it was like a picture of Homer in a dress.
Oh,
weird.
I remember that.
I gotta ask: is it like prison in that sense? Is it?
Oh, Zipp can tell you just how gay the Navy is, can't you, Zipp?
Yeah, it's pretty. It can be pretty gay.
Pretty gay?
Pretty gay.
Why is it so gay, Zipp?
So, well, what happened was when I was the only time I was on active duty was when I was going through the training pipeline. So I spent about 6 months at this like course for my military job, and you all share a barracks, and we weren't allowed to. Somebody got arrested for sexual assault in a different training unit,
geez.
so we all got put on lockdown for like 4 months.
Damn.
And so there was a lot of gay sex happening in that barracks. There was a couple gay dudes, and then there was apparently a lot that were really curious about it. Because it was a rule. You weren't allowed to have sex like in the rooms.
How weird. Oh well, did you ever get on Grindr while you were at the base?
Yeah, so I'm gay myself, so I had Grindr. And what was funny is, so I was in the Marine Corps, but in the Marine Corps, all the medics are sailors. It's a weird system. And the school I was at was right next to the Navy Corpsman medic school. And so our barracks was pretty close to each other. And so when I would turn Grindr on, which is a gay dating app.
That's a gay hookup app. It's called Let Me Get Some Fuck On and Gay. That's what it's in the description.
So yeah, you could say that, but it tells you how far away. It tells you how far away everything is, or excuse me, how far away the person is. And so when I would turn it on, the whole screen would be, a bunch of guys, and every one of them would be like 1,480 feet away because they were all in the Navy barracks.
Just concentrated.
Yes, it was. And we weren't allowed over there, so
we weren't allowed over there with those boys.
And then there's even a part where they ask him, he's filling out the form to join the Navy, and he's like, "One of these questions is blacked out."
No!
Don't answer that question. He's like, "Are you a homo?"
No. Because
when I enlisted. when I enlisted, it was actually right at when Don't Ask, Don't Tell got taken away.
Yeah.
And so it was still
the remnants of it, like
there was still paperwork that was like floating around that was about that. It was just, it's so weird to think that recently they would be like, oh, you're gay, well, you're automatically kicked out of the military.
Yeah, well, you know what? It really fucks up.
It is.
Pull them triggers.
Can't have any people in the military for some reason.
Yes. Anyway, but God, there's Barney's mom is in the fucking submarine.
Oh, it's ridiculous. The episode's absurd.
It really is.
It's honestly not even a very good episode. It's just there's so many bits and like jokes and lines in it that make it worthwhile.
Then it's a good episode.
You think that still classifies
you like
something?
How is it not a good episode?
Well, it's good to me.
Well, why does it make it not good to anyone else?
Wait. So if something is good to me, it has to be good to everyone else? That's what you just said.
It's good. Then why would it be bad?
Because it's subjective.
You're an ass. Just keep going.
Sorry.
Hey, you speaking truth here, man.
There's a scene where Homer gets back from boot camp and he's wearing his like ceremonial sailor hat and sword, and just that to like be sexy to Marge, and I'm guilty of that. I've actually done that. There's more than one picture floating around with me with just that Marine Corps hat.
Would you do it to a man or a woman?
Both.
Oh God!
I like to.
To anyone I know?
No, it wasn't like I said it out to random people, dumbass.
That doesn't change if I would know them.
Oh man, is this the one where the captain of the ship is taking a liking to Homer because Homer keeps saying dumb things like what's a poop deck and all that, right?
Peas with a knife. How do you get peas, Homer? With a knife. Why is he getting peas with a knife?
I think that's the point.
He's getting like 3 peas at a time with a knife tip.
Everything's so contrived.
Oh yeah.
It's this.
But he kept saying it's his first day.
Oh yeah.
What's his excuse? So he has to get up in front of all the different navies. And I just love shit like that because it's just him saying it's my first day in like 5 different languages and like just different shots of different navies of different ethnicities laughing.
The last one was Antarctica. He spoke to penguins.
Yes. There's echoes of like police academy in this, right? And how inept they all are. Like, then they fill up one of the missile things with like beer cans or something.
Oh, no, that's my favorite scene in the whole thing. That is the captain of the submarine crawls into the torpedo tube because Barney has filled it with beers and cigarettes and nudie magazines, and then Homer shoots him out of the torpedo tube and becomes the acting captain of the submarine.
If you kill the captain, you become him.
That is not true. I can. Trust it. It crossed my mind a couple times. No, I mean, and probably the one of the bigger things about the episode that I really appreciate is there's this sense of all these reservists are on this fucking submarine and they don't know what to do, and that's so like accurate to how I felt whenever I was doing anything with military equipment or vehicles, because I was an amphibious landing crew, so I went from like big ship to the shore and back, and we would be out there. I was on top of one of these fucking floating dumpsters in the middle of the night in the Pacific Ocean. The only thing they give you is they give you one glow stick to duct tape to your back.
It's on your back?
Yeah. So if you fall in, they can see it.
Oh. Wait.
But what's stupid is that it's metal, so you have this little handle you pull to make your armor fall apart so you don't drown.
Yeah.
And they attached the glow stick to that, so you have nothing. But we took this really bad wave, and so it's pitch dark, there's no fucking lights, and for like 5 seconds we thought we were sinking.
Yeah.
And so, I like pissed my pants and I thought I was going to die.
Yeah.
And so I really I sympathize with Homer because he thought whenever everything kind of was stabilized, I was like, why am I out here? Like, why are they letting me do this? This is so dangerous.
I'm just an asshole who tells people how to shoot guns from Texas.
Yeah. You know, and it's just a fucking miracle that more people don't die doing it.
I love that they the glow stick would go on your back. Like they're saying that basically, if you're floating around face down, we'll find you.
You're right. I didn't realize you have to be up so you'd be floating with your mouth in the water.
They were trying to find you, my friend.
Well, the logic is that you have a flotation device. That's you know, so people don't think that the Marine Corps is not totally inept, which I mean they are. But I mean, to be honest here, I was in a unit for 3 years. I never even got a helmet. Because they just kept saying they were out of them, and I'd go back every 4 months and be like, I need a fucking helmet. They say, oh, we're out. Come back later.
I think I'm legally obliged to say thank you for your service.
I don't think you are obligated at all.
You specifically are not obligated at all.
If anything, we stole it all from you. So.
You're right. It's all good, man. Cool. Man. Yeah. There's one other reference in this. There's like Star Trek scenes in it, right? Like
Mr. Solo. Yeah. He keeps calling him Mr. Mo.
Stop calling me that.
Let's turn on the mood lighting.
Oh, yeah. I fucking love it.
This is a beautiful episode, and that's crazy. Like, oh man, that's beautiful that like it gets you deep because you've lived that life, man. That's nice, man.
We picked some very specific episodes. We have favorites that we like more, but we decided to go with these specific.
The ones that spoke to us, except for this our next episode. Our next one we just went with because it's funny.
Next one's one of my favorites.
Yeah.
Shall we get into the next one?
I think we should. Yeah,
let's get on.
The third one, the one that we picked together, is Treehouse of Horror 5. So that's season 6, episode 5.
Man. This is the first time somebody said a Treehouse Horror one.
What? We were wondering about that.
It was hard because it was pretty close between Treehouse of Horror 5 and 6.
Oh, yeah.
And so we went with 5.
Oh, no, 5 and 4, I think.
Was it 5 and 4?
Yeah, this one's my favorite Treehouse. Zipp's favorite is, I believe, number 4. That's the one where all of the mascots come to life.
Oh, my God. That episode scared the shit out of me so bad. The one where the advertising mascots all come to life and kill people.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. That scared you.
That's a different...
As a child.
Legitimately scared. Like I was a child and I was afraid of Mr. Peanut. He was going to walk up and eat me.
Jesus.
But anyways.
Yeah, we chose the one after that, though. It's my personal favorite, and that's Treehouse of Horror number 5. And that's the one as the 3 segments, which are it opens with the audio signal on the screen, and Homer is like, "This is my voice on TV." Yeah. And the first segment is the Shinnin'.
Yes, the Shinnin'.
And the second one is Homer with the toaster time machine.
Yes.
And the third one is where they grind up all the children into food.
That's the best one. Yeah. That's the best one.
That's so funny because we all have different favorites in this one.
Oh, man. Please take it away.
So the Shinnin', we'll go through them one by one. The Shinnin' is just fucking awesome to me because they really get that tone of Stanley Kubrick's The Shining down so good. But this episode as a whole has some of the best Homer Simpson screams that I can think about. Like the ones where he just all out of nowhere just it's just fucking hysterical.
When they drag him out of the freezer because he's eating all the food.
That is my favorite fucking part of this episode. Is where Homer they lock him in the front of the pantry and he's eating the food. He goes, "Hey, it's Mo." He's like, "Hey, Homer, me and some of the ghouls have been talking, and we think you're maybe not as committed to this project as we'd like you to be."
The project's not going forward.
All right, let's get him, ghouls. No. I think about that once a week, at least for different references where I'm just like, you'd have to drag me out of there like Homer Simpson and the ghouls and the shit.
And it's like a random crew of ghouls, right? Instead of like the werewolf.
Yes. There's a mummy and Frankenstein and a werewolf. Me and some of the ghouls. And what is he going? Hey,
you're handling this better when they tell him that there's no TV and no beer. They say you're handling this better than we thought.
I'll kill you.
I'll kill you all.
Oh man.
I like where he comes up to Mo at the bar and he's supposed to be Lloyd from The Shining. And he goes, "Hey Mo, give me a beer. Not unless you kill your family." that's how he says.
Or no, it's what Marge says. He says, or Lisa says, "Will Dad kill us?" And Marge just says, "Well, we're just gonna have to wait and see."
I didn't watch The Shining until years after I saw this episode. It was all
I was a child.
I had no idea what the actual story was. It was just a lot of Homer screaming.
Yes.
Thank God. I will tell you, as a child, I don't know if like certain humor hits other people in different ways, and certain verbal, just like frenetic noises or just things can really get me. And Homer Simpson's scream can just out of nowhere make me lose it. And this whole episode is just filled with so many of them. Like when Homer is asking Marge to give him the bat. He's like, "Oh, give me the bat, Marge. Give me the bat. Give me the bat, bat, boom."
Oh man, my favorite bit. Oh geez, sorry, I'm all over the place. I'm getting excited here.
What's your favorite bit?
You know when he?
I know, go for it.
When he kicks in the door and does the "Here's Johnny" thing.
It's just an empty room.
David Letterman.
That's so fucking cheap. That's like the cheapest fucking joke. To have him do that to an empty room, but it works. They made it work.
No, that is okay. So I'll move on to the next one, even because, we'll go all over the place. But that is another thing I love about this episode is just the frenetic pace of this episode, because they're just trying to shove in as many jokes as they can, because they know they're doing 3 whole movies worth of shit in a 30-minute segment. And so it's just bananas every single second. It's just people losing it. Like when for example, the beginning of the time travel one, it starts out in maybe 10 seconds of them at breakfast. Lisa goes, or Homer goes, "Hey family, what a nice breakfast we're having. Something innocuous." And Lisa goes, "Oh Dad, your hand's stuck in the toaster." That's the beginning of the fucking segment.
And doesn't it get stuck again?
It's just him slamming and running and screaming and smashing it all over the walls and the floor. And he slumps down against the counter. Oh God. "Dad, your hand's stuck in it again."
Oh man.
It's
what is this the one? I'm trying to remember this one. Is this the one where he goes into like weird alternate realities and everything? Something's just off in every one.
Yes.
Well, because he goes to the past and he remembers. He says, "What did my dad tell me on my wedding day?" His grandpa Simpson. He said, "Remember, if you ever get stuck in the past, don't touch anything." And so he's trying not to touch anything, and he ends up squishing like a fly that bugs him. And so like that changes.
He shouts, "Shoot, fly! You go squish now!" Just slaps it.
And so then he goes to the future, and it's like Ned Flanders runs the entire world.
Yes. Everyone has to dress like him or something. Like, is that?
Yeah.
Oh man.
Is that a parody of a movie, Bob?
It's kind of like 1984.
Is that what it's going for?
Oh, yeah, but I have to say, and I gotta ask, I want to make ultimately clear here, we all hate Flanders, right?
I love Flanders.
No, but you hate his character.
Well, yeah, I mean, you're supposed to be...
Okay, that's what I'm getting at, is we're all supposed to
be annoying.
Hate how annoying he is, but he's hilarious, don't get me wrong. But I fucking hate Flanders. Nobody thinks he's like an enjoyable person.
No, of course.
Okay, good. I'm just double checking because some people are weird.
It's hypnotic. He speaks in such a way that you think, hey, he's all right. I don't know.
Have you heard about the Flanders metal band in the United States? Oh, is it Howdly Doodly Zipp, or do you remember?
It's what was it? Yeah, it's some pun on Howdly Doodly, but it's like how kill. Oh my God, I gotta look it up.
It's there is a heavy metal band here in the United States that's based entirely on Ned Flanders.
Crazy.
Every single character.
Oh, it's Oak Kill E Dokuli, like
Oak Kill E Dokuli. Yeah.
And they all have fucking mustaches and dress like Flanders. So I don't know if in the UK you guys have people like Flanders, but we have them in Texas. They're real.
Oh, yeah.
But in Texas, they're, or at least in our part of Texas, just imagine Flanders, but way meaner. Just like here, Flanders are aggressive.
We have aggressive Flanders in the Texas.
That's the worst of both worlds because Flanders is endearing.
Oh, I know.
Oh, God.
I mean, you're talking, these motherfuckers don't dance.
Wow.
Like, that's how fucking boring they are.
Okay, that's a question I have for you. You're a Londoner, so you're more of a modern or metropolitan England or Englishman. Are there still people that are super quaint and incredibly British? Like, oh, I'm so sorry.
I believe the word you're looking for is posh.
Oh, no, that's high society. I'm talking like, I don't know, just putzing around, like, oh, right, I'll have a tea crumpets today, and then I'm going to drink my cheese, and that's it. That's my whole day. I'm going to do it all over again. Touch my cat Sammy, ball my uncle.
British people live in Britain?
I don't know.
So these people exist. They exist, but not in London. Like you have to go out.
Are there British men in Britain? Can you answer that hard-hitting question? Do you have any English speakers in England?
Yeah, you have to go out into the provinces to like see some weird, like, you know, you don't see them in London too often. That's the gist of it.
Okay, so Britain is I would say probably as close to the size of Texas. It's a little bit smaller, just like if you crush it all together area-wise, but it's very
like the size of Oregon.
Okay. Yeah. So we're a little larger than that. But I would say, like, how quick it's smaller. It's about maybe half the size. Regardless, though, how quick is it to get to the countryside out of London? Like, how compact is the country? I really don't know how densely populated.
If you drove for about 2 hours, you'd get maybe an hour. You could get to some pretty country. Like basically, when you picture Downton Abbey or something like that, like you could.
That sounds pretty comparable to us, actually, in Houston specifically. About an hour's drive out, and you're in Huntsville or like a forest town, or like
forest towns.
Well, I mean, they would.
Yeah, no, I get it.
Yeah, Texas is heavily wooded in many parts in East Texas.
When you say forest town, I'm picturing like Planet of the Apes or something. I don't know. Like, are you like?
Oh, actually, that's funny. Our hometown, like specifically where we were raised, it's a suburb of Houston called Kingwood. It was specifically built into a forest, and that's what we grew up. And we thought everybody kind of lived like in a heavily wooded place like us. Not the case.
Yeah, I mean, we're talking when we're kids, you think.
Yeah,
right. Like, we used to just go out into the woods and set stuff on fire. Like, that was
we would
what
just
we did
go
for
off
fun.
into a wooded creek and go fishing and like set things on fire and find bags of pornography left by homeless people. It was weird.
I found a duffel bag filled with nudie magazines and a bottle of vodka and like a big puffy like starter's jacket.
Yeah, so he was either about to be murdered or
magical.
about to...
I pity people who never got to just wander in the forest.
Really, we do think about that. Like, did you ever get to go into a forest or the woods as a kid?
Last time I was out there, I left a duffel bag full of nudie bags. I don't know. Not too often.
This episode has a lot of Willie, though, of groundskeeper Willie
getting stabbed in the back with an axe.
But Groundskeeper Willie is one of our personal favorite characters, and we knew that apparently the staff hated doing like the long bits for what he would like the long insult strings he would do. But I wanted to know, can we hear your best Groundskeeper Willie impression of that type of Scotsman?
Yeah, so I've never been to Scotland, and I don't think I could. Oh man, I don't know.
That's like a train ride away.
Oh man, it's like London to Edinburgh is like 400 miles or something. I don't know. It's like far. I don't know what it.
Yeah, we do that. We've done it.
What does he say? Give me a phrase he uses. What does he say?
Okay. Well, you can just say, "Well,
I'll see. I'm gonna get your children where you can't protect them in your dreams."
In their dreams.
I'll give you another one where he's like, there's an episode where he's like hiding in the shadows, sharpening a knife, and he's threatening Skinner, and he goes, there'll be many a cut this year. That was terrible. That was terrible.
Yeah, it was. I was really surprised at your pirate impression that came out. I
need to.
What the fuck, my some kind of... I am really disappointed here.
I'm literally...
I'll get your children when you can't protect them.
Get your children away when you can't protect them in their dreams. I suck, man. I'm like, man, I think it's like a world away, though. It's
Wow.
like it's
I thought you were able to do that. Like, we can do our country accents real quick. We can toss on Texas
kind of
accent real
southern
quick.
country accent's super easy.
Yeah, did you just toss
like
that
the
shit on real
easiest,
quick?
yeah.
I can tell you what, I'm on some fucking British show talking to Mansoor, eating cheese, smoking dough, talking about killing motherfuckers in town as a festival. Sorry.
Yeah, what's depressing about Texas is how true so many of the stereotypes are.
Oh, did you ever watch King of the Hill, Mansoor?
Oh, yeah.
Texas.
That show is 100% accurate. Like, it is.
I used to not be able to watch it because it made me uncomfortable how close to home
Oh,
it is.
man.
Because I
Like, what does that seem like to you as an outsider? That's what we like to...
I remember seeing... I remember one episode where I think Bobby... Was it Bobby? Was the kid? Bobby got gout.
Yeah, I used to... My fucking name is Bobby. Right. Here's the problem. My name is Bobby, and my entire life, I've gotten those lines repeated to me incessantly. Just damn it, Bobby, 100 million fucking times. Anyway,
damn it,
go
Bobby.
ahead. Damn it, Bobby.
there better be a naked cheerleader under your bed.
Whoa. My God, it's juicy.
Hank Hill, if you ask about, if you were to poll like 100 Texans, about 80 of them are going to say that they have a hard time watching Hank Hill because it's their father. There's some element of Hank Hill in everyone's father here.
Hey, you're about to say something on
There's an episode where he got gout, right? I think
Because he ate too many deli meats.
He was eating
Organ
too
meat.
much liver. He was having the Louis Anderson sandwich.
I remember the time they, what the hell is gout? Why does this kid have it? But
It's
yeah, I mean I know now, but like that seemed like the height of I'm gonna sound like an old Soviet guy. The height of American luxury.
An old Soviet guy. Yeah.
So like, there's probably a lot of little references you just wouldn't get if you're not from the area.
Absolutely,
like the middle school is Tom Landry Middle School. Tom Landry is the coach of the Dallas Cowboys football team.
That's pretty funny.
There's an episode where they feature in The Simpsons, right? They're like, we drove 2,000 miles for this. Do you remember that?
Yes, yeah. It was Homer. Flanders had started a Pop Warner football team, and Homer kept heckling him so much that Flanders quit, and Homer becomes like just an absolute dog shit football coach. And for some reason, Hank Hill's in the stands.
Oh man. But this episode is really, really crazy. The last one is the one where they turn people or the children to food. That one is obviously one of your favorites, Mansoor.
You could say there's a little Uter in all of us.
Yeah. What was their homework was eat a stick of butter.
They show the school cafeteria in the box that they have before they start eating the children. Says mostly circus animals.
And filler. Yeah.
Okay, one problem I have with it though is they eat Uter and they make like a Oktoberfest out of it.
Yeah.
How much food does one human yield?
A lot.
How much meat do you get off a little fat boy?
Dude, if you kill a cow, you could feed like 500
Yeah, but
people.
a cow is so much bigger than a human.
Well, I mean, I don't know how many kids they have in their elementary school. What do you think it is?
They ate one. It was Uterfest.
I mean, it's a fat child. That's still a lot of meat. That's a whole pig.
If they unravel the small intestine or something,
all right, hey, that's
they get a few miles out.
a fat.
And if you're grinding shit up,
A
you can
fat
make
10-year-old
of
definitely could be the size of a pig.
stuff. Yeah.
Okay.
He's a fat German kid. You see how big a fat kid is? Oh my God. See what kids look like now in Houston, Texas? Jesus. Walking fucking dumpsters. God, we're both very fat gentlemen ourselves. No, we're not fat. We're just
I was
hefty.
like, fuck you.
We're hefty. Was that Zipp? What are you doing over there? Oh God.
So the other segment where he's traveling through all the different dimensions with the toaster.
Oh yeah.
When he goes to the one that's perfect and then he leaves because he thinks that there aren't donuts.
Oh, yeah.
But then it rains donuts.
Yes.
Homer, it bugged me. Like Homer couldn't figure out how to make donuts. Like he couldn't have compromised on it.
I mean, I never thought about that.
Like, yeah. Like
but I mean, it's for the bit, Zipp. You wanted to get him scream. That was the best scream of the entire episode.
Maybe they had other donut. Maybe they had donuts, but they called him something else. Maybe they had something super similar to a donut.
I believe he was so terrified at the thought of no donuts that he screamed 3 times before running away.
I mean, donuts are all right.
Homer has like
what?
He ranges in intelligence. Some episodes he's a genius, and in others he's like, like the one where he goes to become like the leader of the trash collecting organization. I don't know what you call that. That was a terrible description.
He becomes the head garbage man.
Like a genius in that episode. Like where did that come from? I don't know.
You're right.
That's when he's going to rattle some cages.
If you see the...
he kept shaking a bird cage.
If you... what was that we saw where they banded together? And I was watching... I watched a few more episodes after this, so I was starting to think of other ones. But anyway, no. In the one where he's traveling through time, there was another one where... I love when he goes to the dinosaur lands, like the back in time... And he's mustn't crush, mustn't kill. Oh no! I wish I didn't kill that fish. But then I love how after doing that, and it's still fucked up, when it comes back, he's like, fine! And he just
kills everything. He swats a giant mosquito out of the sky with a stick. And stomps on it.
Well, that's what he punches one. He punches a bird out of the air, or a giant mosquito, yeah. He punches it out of the air and stomps it to death and beats a stegosaurus.
I'm legitimately grossed out by the very end of this episode where the gas that turns you inside out. I was just like, this is fucking gross.
Oh, yeah.
It's just gross.
It fucked me up when the dog starts chewing on his leg as a kid. That messed me up.
That was it? That's what did it?
And before that, I remember it scared my younger brother.
Inside out wasn't enough. It scared
my younger brother. That was my dad had to comfort my younger brother because it scared the shit out of him. Oh,
they did. I mean, they did put a warning at the beginning,
except for that creeping fog that turns people inside out. Yeah.
Man.
Just a creeping green fog. I want to make that movie. That's called The Fog, but it just made him dead. So I'd rather do it where it turned him inside out. I'm into
That's
it.
cool too.
How about you, Zipp? Yeah. Shit.
We know somebody who's actively trying to write a script about a throwaway line in a Simpsons episode where they go to
let's talk about Dano, please. Yes.
They go to Branson, Missouri, but they accidentally go to Bronson, Missouri, and everybody's Charles Bronson from Death Wish. He's trying to write a movie that's actually takes place in Bronson, Missouri, with a bunch of Charles Bronsons.
Every 2 months, he contacts Conan O'Brien on Twitter and asks him when or how he's willing to help or collaborate with him on the script for Bronson, Missouri, the movie.
Was that even his bit?
Oh, I probably I don't know. Yeah. Regardless, though, I want to put that out there for anyone who wants to help in Dano's incessant and never-ending quest to get Conan O'Brien to help him write the script to Bronson, Missouri. Please contact Dano Colon on Twitter or Facebook, spelled DanoColon.
Email in, Twitter in, all of that.
Love that. He's gonna fucking shit his pants when I tell him about that. I swear to God, he's a bananas dude. He went to clown college in France.
You mean like legit clown college?
Yes.
Yeah, he's like a classically trained clown.
Yeah.
Wow.
Isn't that weird? Cool, huh?
Yeah. Random question about just Treehouse of Horror in general.
Yeah.
Did you guys ever get fucked by the World Series when it came to the Halloween themed episode?
No. Nobody watches the World Series.
Because it always had No, but that's the thing. Like the Halloween episode comes out a week after Halloween because of the World Series, and it always pissed me off whenever that would happen. So I wondered if that was everyone or if it was just us.
But
to play a stupid baseball game.
If it's any consolation, we get the episodes like well, we used to get the episodes several years afterwards. So like,
really?
like it only.
Why?
I'd say only in the late '90s did they actually catch up and like air them like in step with the
It's
rest.
just a boat ride. Like
I don't know what it is. Like I don't like it didn't start airing in '89 here. And so like.
also,
We used to have a Bunny Ears TV, and we could pick up Channel 8, which was the public like broadcasting station, and they would show British television in the middle of the night. And so your television is bizarre.
It's like Wayne's World, but that's like that's the real channels. Like it's that kind of craziness.
Yeah, it's.
Speaking of the World Series, by the way, I would like to say the Houston Astros just won the World Series and are champions of the world. I'm literally sitting here in my Houston Astros hat. So all you British people who do not care, thank you. It's like if London won the Cricket World Championship or something like that.
Here's the thing, and you must hear this a lot.
Oh, that's a good banger. I don't know any of the terms.
Let me wiki-whack your Tubi
that was worth 10 wickets.
and run a couple of gooblers down
Let's
the
stop
road.
for tea.
Hey, listen, here's the thing about the World Series is that there's only one country playing. I don't understand myself.
No, okay, you're right. They have a world championship of it, which is actually different countries where the United States doesn't always win. Like, we didn't win until this is the first year or so recently that we had in like 10 years or something. Like
it's
Japan.
called the World Series because back when it first started, it was a newspaper called that.
Oh,
funded.
right, I see.
Yeah, is that what it
And
was?
then the name
I didn't know
stuck.
that.
Yeah, and
Oh,
then the
wow.
name stuck.
There you go.
Anyway, also, what sport do you follow over there?
Unfortunately, I'm not big into the sports that are popular here. I'm kind of I'm all about countering the popular culture. No, but what's big here is what you call soccer. And
Okay, no. We're aware. We actually played rugby. That's why we always usually ask. English people or British people. Yeah. Any of the Commonwealths, we always ask about rugby because Zipp over there was a hooker and I was a prop.
All right, okay.
Did you play rugby?
I did not, but I know the positions.
Okay, yeah.
I watch a lot of NFL, but for an odd reason.
Do you really?
Yeah, for an odd reason. So it's like,
Are you a big
reason?
fan of the Jacksonville Jaguars?
no, we hate those guys.
You really?
They're trying to pitch the Jaguars as like a future London team or something. Like it's,
yes, they are.
Which is just silly. That sounds like a huge pain in the ass to have one team in London. Why? Why would you do that? That's so dumb.
It's fully dumb. Fully dumb.
I have nothing against London. It would be the same thing if they were like, we're going to give one to Melbourne, Australia. It's like, no, that sounds like a huge pain in the ass.
That's still way farther. That's twice as far. All right, so what were you saying? What reason, though? What's your weird reason?
I became aware of the Oakland Raiders through hip hop.
Yeah! No way! Fucking NWA? Are you shitting me? That is so fucking cool. That is awesome. That is the most American shit I've ever heard. Well, you're welcome. You're an honorary American for that shit.
Thanks, yeah.
My N-word, as we would say, America.
Yeah, so that's how I got into it. And then I started watching the games after that, to have some reason to explain, because people kept stopping me when they saw me wearing all this Raiders. And I'd be like,
you had to be a real fan if you wore the shit. I respect that, motherfucker. That's American.
Working backwards, sir.
So do you know the rules? Do you understand the game when you watch, or are you just being a poser?
I understood it, but I had to spend a lot of time reading, not just understanding the rules of the game, but understanding what all the graphics they put on the screens. So I see that.
That is a part of it. I agree. That's how I got into sports. I was not into sports until I was 21 years old because my father wasn't, and so I never got the backstories and I didn't understand the rules. And so that's what I found. If there are any of you who are interested in getting into sports but don't get it or don't think it's that fun or anything like that, I'll say that there's two components that go into getting yourself interested in sports, and that's knowing the backstory of the players and the teams, just like the whole storyline of what's happening, interactions between them, controversies, and grudges, rivals, that sort of stuff. And then having someone help you understand the rules. If you get to know the rules and the backstories, then you can be it really works. I guarantee it. So yeah.
All right, fellas. So we're coming into the home stretch here. I'd like to wrap up by asking my guests for a few honorable mentions of episodes they didn't make their top 3.
Zip, I'll let you go first.
Oh gosh, I think Margin the Monorail, which you had actually said, like, don't do that one. Everybody does that one.
Yeah.
I want to mention all of Phil Hartman's characters are so fucking good. Like, I miss Phil Hartman so much. All the Lionel Hutz lines. What's our favorite line from Lionel? Could I offer you a belt of scotch? It's 12 a.m.
Well, I haven't slept in days. And there's the one where the musical. It's the music. It's like the Broadway musical of
Planet of the Apes. Dr. Zaius.
I hate every ape I see, from chimpanzee to chimpanzee.
I love the one with the dogs, the puppies, where he does the see my vest, my big gorilla chest. Yeah. All of Mr. Burns' best lines. Zip, what are some of your the Pawnee?
Yeah, probably the same thing. Like, pretty much any episode that like the center focus is Mr. Burns.
I was going to say, do your favorite quotes. I was going to say,
for Mr. Burns.
It looks like
Mr. Burns. It's like somebody starts a fire
in the distance.
Yeah, in the distance, and
he looks for his balcony.
Yeah, and he's staring at it, and he says like, "Oh no, the Navajo have returned.
The Pawnee
have returned. They probably want their souls back." And there's one where Mr. Burns makes them all exercise.
Yeah.
And
it's the one where Homer's so fat that he becomes obese to get disability because he's a piece of shit.
But no, they do one of the calisthenic exercises was the
Indian.
We actually did that.
Oh, God.
Yeah,
when we
all the Native American mentions they've had in shows, like the one where they go like, "Oh no, that's my brother, Crazy Horse. He's a Jesus Christ." What are some more? I love all of Groundskeeper Willie's my favorite. Oh, Krusty the fucking Clown. We wanted to find a Krusty.
You know what my favorite thing about Krusty the Clown is?
How Jewish he is?
Or no, the fact that his name is Krusty the Clown.
Yeah. His name is Krusty.
Krusty.
Or
fucking name is Krusty.
Oh my God. And another one, and not even Krusty, but it was on the episode where Krusty has the summer camp and they go, and Krusty was supposed to be there on the last day, and it's Barney Gumble dressed up as Krusty with like a latex flat top on. "Hey, Bart, it's me, Crunchy." And Bart, it's me, Crunchy. Stampy the elephant. Stampy! I had to get that out.
The Itchy and Scratchy
footlongs
movie
make me uncomfortable.
What?
That's when Maud dies, and the last thing he tells her before she dies, Ned Flanders, is footlongs. You know what I say? Footlongs make me uncomfortable.
Rest in peace, Maud.
Oh, sorry, Maud. With the T-shirt cannon.
And Flanders. I actually, I love Flanders episodes because it's just, it's ridiculous. Like, it's like, why is he so muscular when he takes his clothes?
Yeah, why is he so muscular and well endowed? I need to know.
Same thing with Groundskeeper Willie.
Yes,
Groundskeeper Willie looks like he has a little pot belly, but when he takes his shirt off, he's like fucking Herculean.
He looks like Ivan Drago in fucking Rocky IV. That's something I also have told.
Grease me up, woman!
I've told that to my wife so many times. Grease me up, woman! The only other thing I have to ask is, was Mr. Burns being shot a big ordeal in Britain like it was over here? It was a contest.
Yes, so this is an excellent question. So I and this is going off memory, so I don't think it aired, there was no big gap between the airing. It wasn't like a big summer gap.
That ruins it.
And I know over there was like a competition where you could guess who shot him or something, like online.
Yep.
Yeah, none of that happening here. So like none of the hype.
Oh wow. That sucks. It was a lot of fucking fun over here. It was like a Super Bowl.
Really?
Yeah.
Which I don't know if you know this, but anything Super Bowl is the largest thing in the fucking country for one day of the year.
Oh yes.
And the only other question I have is, over here, when the Treehouse of Horror where Homer Simpson goes into the virtual reality world. It's ended with Homer going to the real world, walking past the erotic cake erotic cake shop, and says, "To be continued." There is no continuation episode. Am I correct? I need someone to guarantee and authenticate that there was no second fucking episode.
Yeah, because
to my knowledge, no.
God damn it!
Oh, we watched the Itchy and Scratchy and Poochie one yesterday, and when I was younger, they have like a gimmick in the episode is they have that like teenager living in their family.
Roy
is like the human version of Poochie. I was a kid, so you take it kind of literal. I was like, "Who is this new character? Like, why is this character's terrible?" Like, and then when it was done, I was like, "I must have missed the episode where Roy came over." Right?
Oh man!
All right. Well, I think that's enough of us doing call outs and shout. If you want us back on the show, you can have us.
That was a comprehensive list.
We can leave. We can get out of here.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah.
But so I guess
we are regrettably coming to the end. But yeah, there's just one more minute ready for you to plug all your stuff.
If we can plug our
gotta
things.
hurry, yeah.
Zipp, would you like to?
Well, you can check out the No Redeeming Qualities podcast at nrqpodcast.com.
Or you could not say
Do you guys have
shittily.
normal internet in England, or do I have to change it to something different?
Jesus Christ.
nrqpodcast.eu. No, don't do that. It's nrqpodcast.com.
No. We are we do a show called No Redeeming Qualities Podcast. We are a comedy radio show, like your standard old school shock jock comedy radio show sort of thing, like Opie and Anthony or what Howard Stern used to be. Don't compare us, but that's just what we mean by the style. Like if you liked us
not to
going
give you
off on
lofty
tangents,
expectations or anything.
yeah. If you liked our tangents that we went on, we were taking you all around Mansoor. That's what our whole show is for at least an hour. We also have another different style of show that we release along with it on our stream called NRQ Presents.
And that's kind of just all kinds of random shit.
It's like themed episodes. It's just where we have our different ideas, different than just the regular radio show hour, that we put together like a theme or a contest or some sort of just gimmick. That's where it goes onto NRQ Presents. And so if you like really interesting things.
Yeah, listeners, check out all their links, all this. It's funny stuff.
NRQ Presents. Yeah, NRQ Presents. And other than that, NRQpodcast.com is our website again.
And No Redeeming Qualities Podcast at Facebook.
What's your Twitter?
If you fucking...
It's at NRQ_podcast.
Yeah. And if you're like Facebook podcast communities, that sort of shit, we have the No Redeeming Qualities official community on Facebook. Find us, the group, join it. It's a lot of fucking fun. It's bananas. Very not safe for work, though.
Yeah. Cool.
So that's
all
us,
right,
man.
Fellas, it's been a pleasure. Thank you.
Oh, no, thanks for having us.
No doubt.
It's been a blast.
Cool. Peace.
All right, dude. See you later.